This one from Pro Football Focus. Favorite, least favorite free agent moves for all 32 NFL teams. For the Browns, favorite, Za'Darius Smith signing, 2 years, $23.5 million, $19 million guaranteed. Smith was a handful for opposing offensive lines in 2023. Perfect fit as a movable chess piece, Jim Schwartz's defense. Don't let the dip in sack production fool you. Smith was still a menace up front. Least favorite, they say not applicable. We're not doing trades here. We loved the minor draft pick compensation it took to acquire Jerry Jeudy, but his reported extension appears quite strong for the player, even considering that the wide receiver market is going to explode this offseason. I agree with Za'Darius Smith. We've already talked about the way people are viewing the extension of Jerry Jeudy. Again, people were going crazy when they picked up Amari Cooper's $20 million contract. Looked like a bargain pretty quick. If Jeudy performs like they expect him to, it's going to be the same thing with that contract.
Yeah, and I also think just the numbers on it aren't going to look crazy in a couple of years, right? Like, I think that also matters as well. I think people kind of get locked into this because people have been negative about Jerry Jeudy, but his production hasn't been terrible. And it's like, which Jerry Jeudy are we talking about? Are we talking about the 800-yard wide receiver, or are you talking about who you wanted him to be coming out to the draft? And I think a lot of that becomes irrelevant when you're talking about the Cleveland Browns because they're paying him to be a $17 million a year wide receiver. And a $17 million a year wide receiver is somebody who can get about 800 to 1,000 yards, which is what he's proven to be capable of in the NFL.
Yeah, and it's relative to, look at Jed Wills. Jed Wills is viewed around the NFL as an average left tackle. Browns fans are killing him because he followed Joe Thomas and he was the 10th pick in the draft. Jerry Jeudy was the 15th pick in the draft, so people are killing him because he doesn't have, they're looking at what, Justin Jefferson, who was taken after him, is doing. And that's one of the reasons Judy's getting beat up nationally.
Yeah, and I think that matters for the Denver Broncos, right? If you draft somebody at 15, you're going to worry about who you had after that pick and what you could have done with it. But the Browns didn't draft Jerry Jeudy at 15. If Jerry Jeudy were taken at pick 24, it wouldn't change the fact that the Browns would have likely traded for him because they like him as a prospect. And again, the contract is not for Jerry Jeudy to live up to his draft hype or whatever people thought of him coming out the draft. This is not a number one receiver contract. $17 million a year. It's not nothing. It's a strong number two contract, but it's definitively in that number two wide receiver range.
Yeah, and keep in mind, the guarantees in it are $41 million. If it's up to the $57 million, Browns are probably going to be happy because the incentives are probably right around that 900 to 1,000 yards. There's certain touchdown incentives. They're going to be achievable, but they aren't going to be, layups, if you will, the incentives that would get it to that $57 million.
Yeah, and I think 15 of that the guaranteed money is from just his fifth-year extension, his fifth-year option that got picked up. So, really, we're talking about $26 million of it being guaranteed in new money. But yeah, I'm fascinated by how much of a big deal this contract was. But I guess if you bring up the Cleveland Browns and you say the word contract, people are obligated to have an opinion about it, right? Like, it just is what it is.